Hello and welcome to the Induction to Academic Support at Birkbeck within the School of BEI for the academic year of 2021. My name is Eva Satmari. I am one of the school's learning development tutors. You've got three of us. Myself helping you with mathematics and statistics, Richard Carabine, who's going to help you with writing skills, including academic English skills and general study skills, and Andrew Silverman, who is supporting students whose English is their second language. He can help you with things like grammar and punctuation.
Make sure you look at the Study Skills Support module on Moodle. You'll need to use your user ID and password to access this. The Start Here section has advice on studying at home and working remotely. The Get Ahead, Stay Ahead sections offer recordings and slides, time management, organising your studies at home, reading strategies, revision and taking exams remotely, academic writing, and also advice on disability and dyslexia support, library help, and IT support. There are also study skills areas for BEI students. There are recordings of study skills workshops, slides, and many other resources in such areas as reading and note-taking, academic writing, referencing your work, giving a presentation, and also some resources for international students.
On this slide, you can see my Moodle page, which is called BEI Study Skills in Mathematics. You will find all sorts of very useful information in here. You can see links to my pre-recorded workshops that happened in the last few years, a collection of useful mathematics and statistics resources, a different collection on how to use different statistical packages such as SPSS data or even R. And then, if you belong to one of the specific subject groups, mathematics related to economics or computer science. My Bookbag is a kind of database that has got all the necessary and very important information that comes along with your studies. You can log into My Bookbag using your username or your registered email. The password is the same for both of them. Your username is 6 letters, a combination of your first name and surname, and 2 numbers. Once you're logged into My Bookbag, there will be a host of information in there, such as what is your timetable, who is your program administrator, who is your personal tutor, what is the state of your fees, and so on. I strongly recommend that you log into My Bookbag as soon as possible and you familiarize yourself with all the different information, how to gather them quickly and easily.
As a Birkbeck student, you can use Studiocity to submit drafts of your writing. You'll receive detailed feedback in 24 hours. This will help you to develop your writing skills. There's also a chat facility for live online tutorials. The service is free. You can only use the service 10 times in an academic year. That is for writing feedback or tutorials or a combination of both. You also have access to LinkedIn Learning. There's a wide range of software, business and technology topics. There are over 5,000 courses and 200,000 tutorials. And there's new releases every week. You will see this service when you log on to My Birkbeck.
Also in My Birkbeck, you can find the so-called events and workshop style. In here, you will find all the upcoming workshops ordered by date. So for example, all the study skills workshop can be found here, or different workshops around employability and careers. I again suggest that you take a good look at these and enroll to those that you think will be benefiting you. So for example, if you feel like you could benefit from some time management, or you would benefit from some recap on essay writings, do make sure that you attend these workshops. Again, within My Bookbag, under the menu and within My Records, you will find something called My Software. This is all the software that is provided to you through Birkbeck for free. So for example, Microsoft Office Lens, which is an image converter to PDF, can be useful for submitting exams that you have to take home while we're still in lockdown. Also, while you are a Birkbeck student, you can download Office 365 Pro Plus, which is the latest versions of the standard Microsoft packages such as Excel, PowerPoint and Word. learning mathematics is very different from other text-based subjects. You cannot learn mathematics simply by reading it. What's most important when it comes to learning mathematics is that you do the practice calculations. Also, there are a few concepts and problem-solving methods that you need to know by heart in mathematics. So there are two ways to do this. You can learn them by practicing, and you can complement this process by using flashcards. So for example, you come up with some new concept, such as what is a derivative. You probably want to write that down on a flashcard and test yourself on it regularly until you are fully satisfied that you understand and able to recall what this concept means. Here I picked out two of my favorite mathematics websites that I think could be useful for you if you need some refresh on some mathematical concepts. One of them called Maths Tutor. This website has been put together by tutors like myself who are helping students with their mathematics at university. The other one is Khan Academy. If you think that you could benefit from, let's say, recap what percentages are or how to solve simple linear equations, try out one or the other and then see which one is easier for you to understand and follow. There are extra resources in my Moodle page, so if you don't like these, feel free to have a look there. On this slide, you can find resources that are specific for computing and computer science. A few years ago, I have recorded a video series on binary mathematics, hexadecimal mathematics, and Boolean logic. You can access these video tutorials via the library guides under computer science, or alternatively you can find them on YouTube. The direct link is here. These are starting from zero. So you don't have to know anything about binary numbers or hexadecimal numbers or logic, and they will help you to start building up some basic understanding. For data science, you want to log into my Birkbeck, find the LinkedIn Learning and search for Statistics Foundation 1, 2 and 3. This is a more in-depth information around the basic statistical methods that you might need for data science. I don't suggest you watch all of them. I would say if something doesn't make sense during your data science statistics module, this is an alternative resource to fill in the gaps. Statistics is most likely to be a new subject to most of you. And studying statistics is a little bit like studying language. There will be a lot of new concepts, and if you don't know what these concepts means, the whole subject can seem very confusing and a little bit daunting. Also, most of you will have very little prior experience with statistics. While when you're studying mathematics, you probably have done quite a few years in primary and secondary school, statistics is unlikely to have so much experience previously. What's important, if you do not study for a statistics degree, then you are most likely to be tested on your understanding of the processes and interpreting outputs of software rather than actually carrying out the statistical calculations. Again, using flashcards or other techniques can help you to learn these new concepts much faster and a lot more effectively. Again, a very useful website for statistics, generally understanding how statistics work and some useful information on how to use different statistical packages can be found on statstutor.ac.uk. This is again a website that has been put together by UK academics who are helping students with their statistical skills at university. If you need help with using a specific statistical software, such as SPSS or Stata, I strongly recommend that you go into LinkedIn Learning via My Birkbeck and then search for the SPSS Essential Training. This is a very basic training. It starts from how to implement data, how to export and import data into SPSS, how to manipulate that data, all the way to showing you the steps to, for example, carrying out a multiple linear regression. Again, SPSS can be downloaded for free of charge within My Birkbeck under My Software. You might need to use Stata instead of SPSS, and there is a very comprehensive video tutorial series on Stata on Stata's own website. So make sure that if you need help with Stata, have a look there. There are other statistical packages. If you need to use something else and you're not quite sure where to start, feel free to drop me an email.
Some Birkbeck students discover that they have a specific learning difficulty during their studies. They may struggle with reading and writing, might find it hard to remember what they've read, find time management difficult, and find it hard to concentrate. There's a free screening service available. There's a link there on this slide to give you an initial idea if there is a possibility that you may have dyslexia. It's well worth doing because a dyslexia diagnosis leads to a report of your strengths and weaknesses, and some students are entitled to disabled students allowance, which gives them specialist software and tutors. And there's also college support in terms of extra time in exams. I strongly advise you to consider using a study planner to map out all of your commitments for Birkbeck. For example, your lectures and seminars, the submission deadlines, maybe certain assessments and exams, so that you have an overview of your commitments over the coming months. And it's a good idea to put in your other commitments, social, family, work, etc. So you have a complete view of what's coming up over the next few months. And this is very useful because it gives you an opportunity to see if there is any particularly difficult times ahead and if there are any clashes. And if you can find that out in advance, then you can do something about it and maybe shift some activities so that the clash is no longer there. This is also useful because it helps you to prioritize your tasks and to maybe break down bigger tasks like writing an essay, so that you can plan out your activities over a series of weeks. And then once you've prioritized the upcoming activities that you have for Birkbeck, you can plot them on a weekly study timetable so you know what you have to do and when you have to do it.
As a Birkbeck student, what you will find is that time is the one thing that you don't have enough of. Therefore, it is very, very important that you use effective learning strategies. Two of the most important effective learning strategies, in my opinion, are spacing and retrieval. Spacing is basically that you do a little bit of learning every day as opposed to massing all your learning over the weekend. So what I mean by this, for example, please try to do 30 minutes of studying every of your subjects daily. So, for example, try to look at your flashcards, try to read your notes, and try to do practice questions. Most likely you will have to do most of it over the weekend, because if you do work during the weekend and you have got family commitments, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But just by doing 30 minutes of testing yourself on different concepts, or reading up on all your slides, or reading ahead on your slides, you keep the knowledge fresh in your mind, and it will make a big difference to your long-term retention. Another one what's very important is retrieval. So for example, you would like to force yourself to remember things. Now, this is going to be painful because it feels like not learning. You will feel like you don't do anything, you keep testing yourself. But trust me, this is proven to be a long-term effective strategy for retention. One of the things that you could use here is flashcards, or just simply close the book once you read a chapter and write down anything and everything that you can remember. Then you can open the book or your notes back again and see whether you have learned, whether you have remembered all the information that's needed. If you are interested in, there are 4 more effective learning strategies that you can try to experience and implement. Feel free to check out the website called Learning Scientists.
There's some interesting resources such as the Pomodoro Technique. Pomodoro, Italian for tomato. So this shows you a tomato kitchen timer. And the idea behind this is to make the most of your study time by limiting it to 25 minutes at a time, so that you have maximum use of your concentration. You don't waste time. You're totally focused and not distracted. After 25 minutes, you have a break. And then you come back after that short break and have another 25 minutes. And then you have 4 of these 25-minute sessions. And after that, you have a much longer break. So this helps you to make effective use of your time. There's a link from Forbes there to give you an overview of how this can be used effectively. And also the time management calculator from Veris is very useful, because very often we fool ourselves thinking we've got a bit more time, we may have a bit more time at the end of the week to do these things. And this is quite brutal because it tells you how much time you have. And this is useful because then it enables you to make the most of the time that you do have.
A few more study tips. If you can, please try to work with other students. You can create virtual groups and you can join the forum discussions. It is proven that students who work with other students are more successful in their studying, most likely due to the fact that when you talk to other students, you have to express your thinking, and that helps your understanding in more details. Also, make sure you are on top of your studies. There are pre and post lecture tasks. You need to make sure that you are doing all of them. And again, please make sure you tick them off in Moodle, which will help you to track your own progress. One of the most important things is don't delay. Ask for help if you need it. There are loads of people across college who are all here to help you succeed in your studies. Technology is your friend in learning if you know how to use it to your advantage. Try to experiment with some flashcards apps so you can use your table practice. There are Pomodoro timers that you could potentially use to aid your learning. There are cloud storages and there is referencing software. See which one works for you, and if something feels more of a trouble than actual help, then just dump it. Please make sure to use the study planner. You need to organize your times and tasks in a very effective manner. And if something doesn't work, change it. You might think that you learn best in the morning, but you find out that it takes you half an hour just to get up to speed. That's half an hour wasted. Then, if that doesn't work, try to change things around. Maybe you work better in the evening, or vice versa. Have a look and don't be afraid of changing things.
There is a 2020 Birkbeck orientation Moodle module which you have access to, and it'd be very useful to you to have a look over this. It gives you advice on learning remotely, working with others, study skills, an introduction to the library, careers support, fees and financial support, and many other useful advice areas. And if you don't take anything away from these slides, just these 3 email addresses, and knowing that there are 3 people here that sole purpose is to make your study at Birkbeck easier, then we have done our job. Please feel free to get in touch with us. The sooner, the better. Thank you, and good luck with your studies. Bye.